From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, May the 8th, 2024. An Israeli border police officer who was critically injured this past weekend during a battle with Palestinian terrorists died from his wounds today. 28-year-old Chief Inspector Yitav Lev Halevi was a commander in the elite Yamam counterterrorism unit. He was hurt during a counter-terror operation near Kerem in the West Bank on Saturday, battling a terrorist cell that was responsible for the murder of Elchanan Klein last November. Rockets were fired from the Rafah area in Gaza at southern Israel this morning at the border community of Shalom. The Times of Israel said that Hamas claimed responsibility, saying that it targeted a military position near Kerem, Shalom. And later today, rockets were fired again at Kerem, Shalom, which has been targeted multiple times this week, beginning on Sunday, where Hamas rockets killed 4 IDF soldiers there. The Kerem Shalom crossing, through which major humanitarian aid is delivered to Gazan civilians, just reopened today after the closure was forced by the attack on Sunday. International spokesperson for the IDF, Lieutenant Colonel Nadav Shoshani, said the IDF is ensuring that aid continues to flow into Gaza and gave an update on the IDF's limited operation in Rafah.
Last night, IDF ground troops began a precise, intelligence-based counterterrorism operation in limited areas in eastern Rafah, an operation against Hamas terrorists and infrastructure there. The troops are operating in a specific, defined area where residents have already been evacuated. Our mission remains the same: to bring home 132 hostages and to dismantle Hamas capabilities across Gaza.
And today the IDF shared footage of Israeli tanks entering Rafah and said about 100 targets were attacked from the air and 30 terrorists were eliminated in the Rafah operation thus far. And as we have mentioned, Gazan civilians who reside in the area of the IDF operation have been temporarily evacuated to humanitarian zones. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin today confirmed reports that the U.S. was holding up a delivery of arms to Israel over the U.S.'s opposition of the Rafah operation. Austin was asked about the issue when he addressed the Senate Appropriations Committee.
We've been very clear, Senator, as you know, from the very beginning that Israel shouldn't launch a major attack into Rafah without accounting for and protecting the civilians that are in that battle space. And again, as we have assessed the situation, we paused one shipment of high payload munitions.
Austin said a final determination on how to proceed with that shipment has not yet been made, and he reiterated the U.S. commitment to Israel's right to defend itself. Pro-Israel lobby AIPAC wrote in response, delaying this arms transfer is a dangerous and counterproductive message. It emboldens Iran, Hamas, and Hezbollah and undermines America's commitments to all our allies. AIPAC also shared response from a number of senators and representatives who strongly criticized Austin, including Republican Lindsey Graham.
If we stop weapons necessary to destroy the enemies of the state of Israel at a time of great peril, we will pay a price. This is obscene. It is absurd. Give Israel what they need to fight the war they can't afford to lose.
Also today, the IDF said it eliminated the commander of Hamas's Naval unit in Gaza City, saying he was responsible for several attacks on Israeli territory and against IDF ground troops operating in Gaza. The IDF also continues to defend the northern border with Lebanon. Rockets were fired from Lebanon today at northern Israel, and the IDF responded, hitting terror targets of terror group Hezbollah. Kibbutz Nir Yitzchak, one of the communities ravaged during the October 7th Hamas massacre, said yesterday that its resident, 61-year-old Lior Rudaev, who was presumed to be a live hostage held in Gaza, was dead. The Hostages and Missing Families Forum said that Rudaev was murdered on October the 7th, his body kidnapped to Gaza and held by Hamas terrorists. The volunteer ambulance driver and medic was last seen when he left his home early on the morning of October the 7th, responding to a call from the kibbutz's emergency squad to defend his community. And yesterday, the Hostages and Missing Families Forum led a rally for the hostages in New York City, marking, it said, 7 months since the October 7th attacks, and in a united call for the release of the hostages. Speakers included former hostage Moran Stella Yanai and Or Gat, the brother of Carmel Gat, who remains a hostage in Gaza, now for 215 days. The rally was followed, the forum said, by a monumental display of 500 drones illuminating the sky above the Statue of Liberty, sending a clear message that after 7 months, the living hostages must be set free and the murdered must be brought to their eternal resting place. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, May the 8th at 7 o'clock. David Harris speaks with former U.S. Ambassador to Israel David Friedman to discuss the situation in Israel today, as well as the rise in antisemitism and the protests on college campuses. At 7:30, Shahar Azani speaks with Israeli race car driver Alon. At 8, it's a conversation with the Pogrebin family on Jewish identity. At 9, Sarah Esther Crisp and Rabbi Jeffrey Segelman are on L'chaim. And at 10, it's a look inside the Jewish family with therapist Esther Perel. At 10:30, an encore of this newscast. And coming up next, it's Thinking Out Loud. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, May the 8th, 2024. I'm Teisha Bader. I will be away tomorrow and Friday, so I wanted to just give you a programming note for Sunday as we mark Yom HaZikaron, Israel's Memorial Day to its fallen soldiers and victims of terror. We will be bringing you the official state ceremony from Israel live on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. That's followed by additional special programming for Yom HaZikaron. As always, check our website, jbstv.org, for further information. I will be back here with the news on Monday as we mark the transition from Yom HaZikaron to Yom HaAtzmaut, Israel's Independence Day. Am Yisrael Chai.